In today's video, we're diving into Rangers are chasing a striker, tearing up the league. Tawanda Maswanhise is on fire, and Kris Boyd wants him at Ibrox now. Meanwhile, Borussia Mönchengladbach's Tomas Cvancara is lined up for a shock move, despite a nightmare run in Germany. Damir Redzic could cost a fortune, but Rohl wants him desperately, and 49ers enterprises are ready to back him. Elliot Watt is being watched closely for a summer move, and it could say everything about the club's real ambitions. And Findlay Curtis off to Kilmarnock as Skov Olsen's arrival sends shockwaves through the academy. Want to see these and more Rangers news? Stay until the end. We are the people. First off, there's a name that's lighting up the William Hill Premiership, and it's not in blue just yet. Tawanda Maswanhise, aged 23, banging in 10 goals from 19 league appearances for Motherwell, and now the whispers are getting louder. Rangers are watching him closely. And let me tell you, you should be too. Maswanhise's stats don't lie. A higher SofaScore rating than Youssef Chermiti, more goals, sharper conversion rate, and a better return when it comes to big chances taken. While Chermiti's been grafting, the Zimbabwean's been finishing, simple as that. Now, I know you might be thinking, but it's only Motherwell. But look, Kris Boyd himself has come out swinging for the lad. Says both Rangers and that mob from the East End should be all over him. Boyd's not daft. He reckons Maswanhise wouldn't be a long-term number 9 for Celtic, but for Rangers, a proper weapon in the run-in, fast, versatile, clinical, everything you want when the margins get tight in March and April. And here's the thing, Fir Park are playing it cool. They're denying anything's happening, brushing off the links like it's just smoke. But we've seen this before, haven't we? When a player starts posting these kinds of numbers in a team not expected to push at the top, you know the big boys come sniffing. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at Ibrox, the board are eyeing another striker, Tomas Cvancara. The Czech forward from Borussia Mönchengladbach is being lined up for a loan to buy. But listen to this, 11 appearances, 6 starts, just 1 goal. He's been out of favor in Germany, even had a spell in Turkey that fizzled out, and yet there's belief he could rediscover form in Glasgow. Look, we've seen projects work. Think about the way Todd Cantwell turned the narrative after being cast off. If Cvancara's hungry, if he wants to prove himself, Ibrox is the perfect battleground. Still, it raises a bold question you need to ask yourself right now. Why on earth are Rangers chasing a struggling striker from Germany when Tawanda Maswanhise is already lighting up the league on our doorstep? Right, here's where things get tasty. While you're still catching your breath from the early January signings, Rangers are nowhere near finished. Danny Rohl's been ruthless so far. Tua Romans, Tochi Chukwani, and Andreas Skov Olsen already through the door. And yet the Ibrox machine keeps turning. Next on the radar, Damir Redzic, a 22-year-old Hungarian international, currently strutting his stuff at DAC Dunajska Streda. Now, before you roll your eyes at another name from a so-called smaller league, let me tell you, this lad's drawing attention from Rangers, RB Salzburg, and FC Copenhagen. That's not a coincidence. The boss at Dunajska Streda, Branislav Fodrek, is already softening the ground. He's publicly said it would take an extreme offer to let Redzic go, but didn't close the door. That's football code for he's available if you're serious. And here's the thing, we've got the financial clout to get serious. If Salzburg are sniffing around and we beat them to it, that's a signal to the rest of Europe. Rangers mean business under Rohl, and yet the plot thickens. Rohl isn't just after attacking flair. Word is he's made it crystal clear a new centre-back is also on the wish list. Joe Savage, formerly of Hearts, has praised the board's swift, clinical business, especially after a managerial change. You've got to admit the transition from Michael Beale's mess to Rohl's rebuild has looked smooth, cohesive, like there's a plan again at Ibrox, but we're not done. Not even close. Another interesting name has popped up. Dan Neil from Sunderland, midfielder. 24 years old, captained them to promotion, but now barely getting a game, contract running down, and his club's open to offers. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to see this one could be smart business. Still, the club needs to be clever. There's talk of the squad getting bloated. Rohl's aware there may need to be some outgoings to balance the locker room, but the ambition is clear, and that's something you've been screaming for. But let's get controversial for a second. If you had to choose, would you rather see Rangers fork out an extreme fee for Damir Redzic, a prospect from Slovakia, or go all in on Dan Neil, a homegrown midfielder with leadership credentials but struggling for minutes? It's not just strikers and centre-halves grabbing the headlines this January. There's midfield business quietly brewing at Ibrox too, and the name to keep your eye on is Elliot Watt. Now, Watt's not a glamour signing. He's not coming in with fireworks and YouTube highlight reels, but don't let that fool you. At 25, the lad's been putting in real shifts at Fir Park, 4 goals, 2 assists in 20 league appearances this season, and the kind of steady, composed presence that Rohl clearly admires. Andy Devlin's got the scoop. Rangers are monitoring him closely. No move expected in January, but come the summer, this one could heat up fast. Danny Rohl is said to be a big fan, and we know by now that when Rohl wants someone, the board moves mountains to deliver. And here's the bigger picture. This isn't just about one player. It shows you how deep the rebuild is going under Rohl. Every area of the pitch is being reevaluated. Watt's not just being looked at for his stats, he's being considered for his engine, his mentality, and his ability to slot into a system that's finally starting to make Ibrox feel like a fortress again. After the utter shambles under Russell Martin, Rohl's turnaround has been nothing short of remarkable. You're watching a Rangers side with identity again, with belief and clearly with backing. Andrew Kavanagh and Phil 49ers enterprises aren't sitting on their hands. They're going after players who suit the plan, not just names that sell shirts. But let's stir the pot, shall we? If Rangers do bring in Elliot Watt, does it say more about the manager's clever eye for overlooked talent? Or does it prove that the club's ambition is still far too small when it comes to dominating Scottish football again? One of the brightest sparks from the Ibrox Academy is heading out on loan, and it's a move that could shape his future in the Royal Blue. Findlay Curtis, the 19-year-old winger who's been bubbling under the surface all season, is set to join Kilmarnock until the end of the campaign. Now listen, this isn't a punishment, it's a plan. Curtis has been caught in the crossfire of a transition period, limited to just 27 minutes per appearance across 18 matches in all competitions. That's nowhere near enough for a talent of his level. You've seen glimpses, the goal against Panathinaikos in the Champions League qualifiers, the equaliser against St Mirren, and that classy assist in the Scottish Cup thumping of Annan Athletic. But it's been cameos, flickers, not full-blown fire. Enter Neil McCann, the new boss at Rugby Park, who's been chasing Curtis since day one, and now he's got him. It's the perfect move. Kilmarnock get quality, Curtis gets minutes, and Rangers get their wonder kid sharpened in the top flight. But let's not sugarcoat it. This loan's not just about development, it's about competition. Andreas Skov Olsen has landed at Ibrox on a loan with a whopping £8.6 million option to buy. That's not a background signing, that's investment territory. And if Rohl's going to consider making that permanent, Olsen needs to play a lot. So Curtis had a choice: sit on the bench and watch, or go prove himself elsewhere. He's chosen the latter, and you've got to respect that. Behind the scenes, the clear-out continues. Lyle Cameron's already out on loan at Aberdeen now. Rangers are actively trying to shift Clinton Enciala Kieran Dowell and Joe Rothwell before the window slams shut. Rothwell might head to Sheffield United. Dowell's being circled by Leicester, and Cvancara, well, his future's as clear as a Glasgow fog at 6 a.m. But back to Curtis, because this loan isn't the end of the story, it's the start of a test. And here's what you've got to ask. If Andreas Skov Olsen performs well and Rangers trigger that £8.6 million deal, does Findlay Curtis actually have a future at Ibrox? Or are we watching another homegrown gem being slowly pushed out to make room for the next shiny toy? That's the video for today. So make sure you leave a like to show the strength of our Rangers here on YouTube, and drop a comment letting me know what you thought.